Welcome, my name is Matt, aka RoadJedi88. We're getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes mods. Second sister, and in this case, she is an Inquisitor. She has leader abilities as an attacker role character for the Empire and unaligned Force users, as well as Inquisitors, all for the dark side. I do not believe we ever saw her in Rebels, TV series Rebels, but I get the feeling she is actually in one of the video games. Probably within the same line as where I was suggesting Seventh Sister might have been founded. I just cannot remember the title at the top of my head. And I have dabbled in it. I just have never actually played it all the way through. But I know there was a number of Inquisitors in a particular Star Wars game. This one might have actually been in that as well. But second sister, if you go to my first video at my character mods playlist, I do by definition break down the various different types of character roles as well as the various different types of mods, explaining their purposes, or defining their purposes, and explaining what it is we are doing when we apply the mods to certain types of characters. Now, the mods are either going to kind of double their character role abilities or kind of cross-train them a little with another character role function. She is an attacker character, but if we take a look at her abilities, she has special damages abilities. Well, she is an attacker, so she has more special damage. She has some defense abilities. Defense penetration, so she can break through the line of the opponent's defense. There's critical chance, critical damage to be offered here. More critical damage and more chances. So we're kind of getting a good idea what we can mod her with. There's offense. There's critical damage. Speed. And health, defense. So SWGOH.GG recommended the same thing as the in-game tips. It does lead me to question how often she is used, considering what I just saw in the abilities. And I could be wrong, but again, oftentimes there are certain characters that are big name drops that are easy to distract players with, or certain formations or certain squads that can be easily attention grabbers, leaving certain characters to be easy undervalued, maybe underutilized, undervalued, and just not really taking a chance to get to see what their capabilities are. Now I do see that it is recommended offense and critical chance. She does have offense abilities, but she also had a lot of damage abilities. And even I'm kind of questioning if offense is even really worth applying to her when she offers a lot more in terms of critical damage. And that is actually kind of a direction I think I want to test out myself personally, because I feel like she might be getting undervalued. Well, sure, I'll go with that. But I need to replace that then. I may have to go do a little farming. Nothing like a little mod farming once in a while. Eventually we hit that point where it just is a need. throw in for a little reaping of, what the heck? A little reaping of critical chance mods, critical damage mods. And then go back, narrow it down. There we go. Whoop, what am I doing? Go back. Alright, so, like I said, I was noticing a great deal of critical damage and critical chance. More so than even offense. I mean, offense kind of showed itself one time in that listing. So it does raise the question whether it was ever going to really be worth it. And it probably is. It probably isn't necessarily bad. But when you have a character with certain abilities, why not enhance on them? Make them more, put more oomph into them, is my thinking. And I'll need to power those mods up as I go along. I gotta get the currency for it. But, and I don't do the pay-to-play approach. I kind of see that as surrendering to be scammed just to cheat. Plus, you know, when I get into a game, I get into it to actually play the game. So, you know, I have to take up the challenge of the game. So, there's Second Sister. Offensive critical chance isn't necessarily bad. There was an ability that did where offense was suggested. And offense is basically to push past a boundary, push against something. Essentially, it's kind of what it means. In criminal terms, it's, you know, pushing someone's comfort, pushing someone's boundaries, something like that. And same in battle tactics. But she's an attacker role character. Offense might be appropriate for, like, say, a support character, but when you got an attacker character, they're laced with abilities for speed and damage most of the time. And so, if you really want to make sure you are doing damage in a battle, why not amplify on that, is my thinking. Second Sister, so I'm thinking critical chance, critical damage. And chance is a gambling statistical word. It basically is like the statistical odds of whether or not, when she goes after her target, whether she's going to actually hit them or not. You add the word critical and you raise the statistical odds in her favor. Critical damage guarantees that she's going to actually do damage. It's not just going to offend them, but it's going to hurt them. And that's essentially what you want when you're in a battle, right? I mean, offense is kind of petty in comparison to critical damage in terms of the definition. As far as its effectiveness, I've yet to be able to tell if there's been any misappropriation in the term, but from what I would gather when I look at her abilities, I definitely want to add some oomph to her attacker's ability. Now, another possibility you could go with could be speed and potency. Basically, what that would do is kind of give her a tank character role like punch to her attacks. And this kind of almost does too, but not quite in the same sense. It's basically just kind of doubling, tripling, maybe, her attack role abilities going this route. Offense was probably more or less just doubling in comparison to what critical damage is should provide. So, yeah, that's Second Sister's mods. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below. This for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And thank you for following. May the Force be with you.